Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Today's flavor is chocolate covered strawberry by Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm going to have it with white chocolate raspberry creamer. Sounds good to me. So today's high temperature is going to be 79. We had quite a bit of rain the last couple days, which is nice. So I'm sure the garden has flourished while I was away. I was inside, so that's as far as away as I got. So my plans for today, I think I'm going to stay home again. Been staying home the last couple days. It's been kind of a slow go, but I still have things I have to clean up and put away. And it's not horrendous, but, still things that need to be done. So sometimes when you're not feeling up to snuff, things kind of tend to get away from you, especially if you started projects and then they're sitting there for days staring at you, going, hello, you started me, come on over here and finish me. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I still have to finish my garage. Haven't done much out there lately because I've been taking care of indoor business, but that's all right. Like I said, my goal is to have my garage so that I can get my car in there by fall. Well, before winter anyway. And it's getting there. I have maybe a couple more days of work out there. It's not terrible. So I still have places I need to straighten up and purge and get rid of. So, are you guys inundated when you go on YouTube? Are you inundated with people purging and downsizing, or is it just me? It's like every other video that pops up has to do with that, which is nice because that's kind of what I'm doing, but I would like to watch something else every once in a while. So I'm kind of on the hunt to find YouTube videos that kind of make me feel good. I love the animal ones. Those are so fun. And lately I've been watching the gorillas. And, I always thought, gorillas are fierce and that they would, it's like, what do the males do to the baby gorillas and stuff like that? But they have quite a family system that goes on in their community. It's fun to watch. And there's one silverback. He's got a whole family. He's got lady gorillas and babies and all that. And his little baby gorillas will come and pound on his head and, jump on him. And he's very tolerant. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It begins with Jibo or something along those lines, but really, really interesting. So I like to watch animal videos, especially the ones where, the rescue ones, they're kind of, I don't know, sometimes they're a little depressing as to what people do to their animals. But I like to watch the gorilla ones, and the orangutans. They're nice to watch too. They're very maternal, most of them. They hang on to these little babies, and you see how they kiss their babies, and yeah, it's really interesting. After all, we are the great white apes. Wasn't that a book? The Great White Ape? I think it was. Well, all right, anyway. I don't know who wrote that book, but that came out a long time ago. But I guess we share our DNA with apes. So there you go. Our brain just grew a little bigger. I don't know. Sometimes you wonder. Maybe not that much bigger. But okay, enough of that. Anyway, let's give the coffee a try. I've had this coffee mug. I have two of them. One is sort of blue and says coffee, and then this one. And I've had them for a very, very long time. For a long time, those are the only mugs that I drank my coffee out of because they're nice and lightweight. But, I have so many other mugs now that I bought just for YouTube. So, but anyway, it's like a little bistro cafe scene on there. And I always like those. I have pictures like that too. Sort of European looking bistro paintings. So cheers. That needs a little more creamer. This coffee is strong. I find that Dunkin' Donuts, I've said it before, Dunkin' Donuts coffee is strong. Not that that's a bad thing, it's not. But sometimes you need a little extra water or a little extra creamer, and then it's just fine. So I don't know what project I'm going to work on today. I have many. I need to cut back on the projects. One thing I found that I need to do is, well, I've already said I've cut back on building up my food stash. Other than pasta, I did stock up on pasta the other day because I do use a lot of pasta. So I'm working on doing that, not having such a big, huge stash. It's not really that huge when I go look at it. I mean, it's enough. Let's put it that way. I have enough. So, sitting and thinking about what I don't want to continue to do is something I think about every day, or what I want to change in order to continue to do something is something that I think about too. So, but I'm going to continue to do my budget book because that helps me focus on the money that I spend and to not go crazy and overspend my budget. So, all right, without further ado, I will meet you over there at the budget book. All right, here I am back at the budget book. So yesterday I didn't spend any money. I stayed home, didn't do much of anything. I should be working on my projects, but I just wasn't feeling up to snuff. So I spent the day basically just resting and doing a little cooking. So hopefully today I have a little more vim and vigor and I'll be able to get a little something done. So yesterday in the mail, I got a notice from the county. I think it's from the county. And my house value supposedly has gone up $50,000. That is ridiculous. Of course, they do that because they want more tax money. The last time this happened, I had to check with the value of the houses in the neighborhood and what they sold for, and I had to go in, and there was tons of people there protesting their raise in their house value. I mean, I know I've put a new roof on and new windows, but, they really don't keep track of that. And I haven't done any big home improvements or anything like that. So, and I know my area here where I live is growing, but yeah, I think what they're up to is, they're going to tax you out of, make it so that you make your taxes so high that you won't be able to pay them anymore. And especially for us seniors, that's a real struggle because my income hasn't gone up hardly. It hasn't gone up, big deal. Social Security and I don't know. I think that's their game plan. Tax us until we can't afford our properties anymore. And then we can all go pay a lot of rent and pay them to these big corporations because they're buying everything up. Okay, there's my rant for this morning. I don't know if the rest of you feel that way. You can leave me a comment in the comment section if you think I'm way off track there. But yeah, $50,000. That is absolutely ludicrous. So anyway, I don't know if I mentioned the last time that I had to go take care of this, they didn't raise my taxes that much. But here in my community, we pay pretty high taxes as it is because of the schools. Our schools have very good reputation, but you know what? I realize education's important, but some of the things that they're educating our kids with is just total nonsense. And I don't think the rest of us should have to pay for that nonsense. So, anyhow, that's my thoughts on the subject. So in the meantime, I better tighten my belt a little more. So I've gathered pretty much everything, all the projects that I want to do probably for the rest of the year. And I've mentioned before what they are, but for those of you that are new here, I need to put up some shelving in the living room. That shouldn't take more than a day. I mean, they're small shelves. I need to get a kitchen island put together that I have sitting in the garage. I have a few garden projects that I want to do. That's an ongoing thing, the garden. So, but like I said, next year I'm doing it differently. I'm going to use the city picker boxes the way they were meant to be used. I haven't been doing that, but it'll keep all those weeds out if I do it the way the directions say. So anyway, let's see what else. Oh, my garage project. Yes, I have to finish that up. And then, of course, there's always the downsizing. The downsizing and the purging and deciding what I want to keep and organizing that stuff. So I have plenty of things to keep me busy up until Christmas time, and I'm still putting money away for Christmas. I do $100 a month so that when the time comes around, I'll have the money and I won't be stressing about it, because the last few Christmases have been extremely stressful to me and caused me to rack up more debt, which I've paid off, and I want to keep it that way. So anyway, I'm hoping to see more green check marks than red X's, but as things come up, like I need a new filter for my refrigerator, what else? I have plenty of food, I have plenty of coffee, plenty of beverages, so I should be good. Should be good this month. I don't need any more tchotchkes. I don't really need any more clothes. What else? The garden. I was going to do a fall garden, but I'm thinking of nixing that. I'll keep the garden until the end of the year and then put it to bed for the winter and start new in the spring. Anyway, those are my plans, because I'm finding it increasingly more difficult to keep up with all these projects. But they're things that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. So I figured I'd just gather all the things for all the projects and just work on them that way. So that way I was able to buy the things at a good price or on sale or reduced or open box item. And that's how I like to shop. So I do shop ahead rather than just buying it at the time where I have to pay primo prices for it. It's just the way I've always done it, and it's worked out for me just fine. So I need to stay out of stores like Mark's and Ollie's and Big Lots because those are trigger stores for me. Walmart too. Usually Walmart, what I do is I order and I go pick it up. But I'm thinking about paying the $100 for delivery for the year. But I'm kind of waiting until the weather turns so that I'll have it for the winter. Because right now I don't mind driving there and just sitting and waiting for them to load it in the car. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys use delivery services? And if you do, which ones do you use? And which ones do you find are the best deals, the best bang for your buck? So, okay, that is my budget chat for the day. And I'm going to go drink my coffee because it's very tasty this morning. It has a real good flavor. So I'll see you in a little bit, and I'll figure out what I'm doing. Well, good morning again. I thought I'd have my coffee with you this morning. Cheers, or this evening, whatever time it is for you when we have our visit. And I want to thank you for visiting with me because I really enjoy all your comments, your likes, your shares. It helps my channel grow, and I love this community. The people on here are just wonderful. Every once in a while you get a stinker, but I block them and see you later. No sense in aggravating yourself with people in your life that, don't have your best interest at heart and are condescending and know-it-all, and, they don't want to help you to help. They want to help you to make themselves feel superior to you, which is not good, in my opinion. Nowadays, you have to say that a lot, in my opinion, because you don't want to get sued. People are sue happy. Remember the lady from McDonald's that was dumb enough to put a hot cup of coffee in between her thighs and it spilled and she sued McDonald's? That's a nuisance suit, which goes on a lot nowadays. And sometimes these big corporations and stuff, they just pay it, it's like one and done. So, well, several and done. Anyway, cheers. So I've been sitting here thinking, which I like to do while I'm having my coffee in the morning. And the proposal that I got from the tax people got me to thinking about low-income living and how many of us live on a low income because either we can't find a job or we're retired and we can't do a job, or we don't want to do a job because we worked our whole life and that's what we worked towards was retirement and, to have a little bit of comfort in our old age rather than, sometimes I go into a store or a restaurant and I see these people that, they're just so debilitated, but they still have to work. They have to still provide for themselves. They, either don't have family to help, or they're on their own. Maybe they're a senior orphan. So, yeah, it really makes me feel bad when I see that. Or some disabled people, they stand at the registers and you can see how miserable they are. And a lot of times these businesses won't provide them a stool or a chair or anything like that they need. So anyway, I do feel bad, for people that have to work. So hopefully if you're in a position like that, you can find some work that isn't as difficult to do. Now, I know there's a ton of online jobs that people can do, but as you get older, a lot of us aren't as sharp as we used to be. And a lot of them require you, of course, to use a computer, and you may not be able to afford a computer, or you may not be tech savvy, because a lot of these things you have to be a little tech savvy in order to do. So not all of us can self-publish books, but that's a thought. If you want to write books, you could do that. But not all of us have that talent, or not all of us have the talent to make paintings that we can sell, or crafts, or, it's difficult. It's real difficult, especially as you get older. And even if you do a side gig, sometimes it's just not very much money. So, and even being an Uber driver, there's always the danger you're going to pick up some nutcase. So that's not the best thing. Or a delivery person, that's a lot of wear and tear on your car, even though, you can write a lot of those things off. But, not everybody, especially as you get older, not everybody has the ability to drive all around town delivering things to people. That's more a job for young people, in my opinion. So there's a lot of problems with low-income living. Your problem-solving skills aren't what they used to be. Because most of us, when we get to that point where we're low income and living, especially in this economy, we don't, everything becomes a DIY project. And you may not have the skills or the stamina to get the project done. I mean, I know DIY used to be a piece of cake for me when I was younger. I did a lot of things. I used to lay, the flooring. I fixed ceramic tiles in a bathroom that was leaking. I did wallpapering. I did painting. All kinds of things. I can't do that anymore, I mean, things that require me to climb up and down a ladder several times. It's really hard on my body, because just that motion, the up and down motion. Stairs don't bother me, but on a ladder, it does. By the end of the day, I'm shot. Because usually you're stretching and lifting, and like with these shelves, I may have to do one at a time, which requires me to leave the ladder there. The project will sit there for a week before I get it done, and then the place is a mess, and then you have to clean it up. I mean, my days of doing DIY are very limited now. It's just, I can't do it anymore. So, and then to hire somebody when you can't do it yourself is so expensive. I mean, it's so much money, and it takes forever to save up the money to get somebody to do whatever it is you need to do. Now, I have to have my deck done. I have to. It's not something that I can put off any longer. I was hoping to put it off for another couple years, but it's literally getting big rotted holes in the wood. And I don't want either myself or my dogs to, break the wood or get splinters, or so that's something that I have to have done. But either you start totally depleting your savings, which isn't good if you're not 95, but you have no choice. Sometimes you have to dip in the kitty and pay for things, and then hope that you can either resave the money or that you can schedule it at a time where you'll have more of the money, which is the situation that I'm in right now. I'm going to try and gather up as much money as I can for my deck, which will be between $3,000 and $4,000 before October. I know I won't get it all together, and I'll have to dip into savings to pay it all because, I do want to remain debt-free. And that's another thing that's really difficult if you're living on a low income. It's very, very hard to stay debt-free. Now, I know some of you say, well, stop buying things, you don't need this and you don't need that, and that's true. But you're still a person. You still want your environment to look nice. You don't want to live in a time capsule, although some people that doesn't bother. But, every now and then you want to refresh things or renew things, or you've had drapes hanging there for 20 years and they look pretty disheveled, so it depends on your personality too. Some people will use things up until they wear them out, then they get rid of them, which is a good thing to do, and then they don't replace them. But some things you have to replace. Like if my toaster oven went, I use it. I have a toaster oven and an air fryer, and I use them both for different things. And if either one of those were to go, I would have to replace them. So, some things you just have to spend the money, and when you're on a low income, it's really difficult to stay debt-free. So, a lot of times people, they'll say, well, you got to live below your means, you got to live within your means, which I agree with, but it's not easy. It's a difficult thing to do. So, another problem with low-income living is, some of you say, well, get your family to help. They can help, but sometimes your family doesn't have the skill to help you. Like, I couldn't get my sons over here to replace my deck. I have two grown sons, but they're not woodworkers, so I would, that's something that they can't do. So, they do help me. My boys have come over, and when I had a couple trees fall down, tree limbs, they came over and sawed them up and dragged them off into the woods. They help me with what they can, but a lot of times your family, they're sort of in the same position you're in, even if they're younger. They just don't have the time. They have to work. Some work 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. The world has changed so much, and not for the better, in my opinion. And I can't expect people to move in here with me just because I can't keep up with things, so that's a difficult part of living on a low income. And usually, even if you have friends, it's like, well, ask your friends, maybe they can come and help you. But a lot of times your friends are in the same shape you're in, not the best. So there's a lot of problems with living on a low income. But it can be done. You know, you just have to pick and choose what it is you're going to spend your money on. You know, like with me, this month, am I going to buy a lot of groceries, or am I going to buy the shelving that I've been wanting for my living room for a long time? Well, because I have my food stash, I can say this month I don't need to buy any food because I have the money to buy the shelves, because I can save that money and use what I already have in the freezer and the refrigerator. Now, at one point I had 3 freezers. I had my freezer in the garage, which I had for over 40 years, and it finally conked out on me. So I took a lot of that food over my mom's because she had an extra freezer, and I put it in her freezer, and then I bought a much smaller freezer. I went from a 13 cubic foot freezer to a 5 cubic foot freezer. So I have that in the garage, and then of course I have my kitchen freezer, which is very narrow and deep. So sometimes it's hard to keep track of what's in back of the freezer. So, you know, every now and then I have to take the shelves apart and look and see what I have, because the food gets lost in there. Excuse me. So anyway, the freezer at my mom's is pretty much, I've gotten almost all the food out of there. And it's like, Ellen, why did you need 3 freezers? Well, like I said, the 13 cubic foot went to a 5 cubic foot, so it turned out to be 3 freezers. So I do have one small shelf at my mom's yet, and as I'm cooking down my freezer here, I bring the food over and stick it in my freezer. So that's another reason why my freezer here in the kitchen and the one I have in the garage, I can never empty them because I still have food that I bring over from my mother's. So, but I'm working on it. I'm plugging away on it, and I'll get there. You know, I've been working on that project for at least 2 years, cooking down the freezer. And of course, every now and then you buy something fresh, you know, like I bought ice cream, that takes up space. Or I like to buy the Impossible chicken, the frozen fillets. I like those. So every once in a while, I buy things that I don't make myself. So things like plant-based fish fillets, I like those for fish tacos, or, you know, with mashed potatoes or some whatever. So those things I will buy periodically. I buy French fries rather than making them with fresh potatoes because it's convenient. So that's another thing as you get older and you're on a low income. Please utilize the food bank, you know, if you have to. Don't let people shame you. I mean, every now and then you get somebody, oh, you know, you've got enough money to buy this, but you go to the food bank. So what? You know, that's what they're there for. You know, you can stretch your money that way. So utilize the food bank as much as you can. So anyway, yeah, you just don't have the strength and the stamina that you used to have to do everything yourself. And enlisting help, you're either cash poor on that, or, you know, the resources just aren't there. So at least that's what I find to be true. And I found that's what's happened in my life. Even keeping the house clean. You know, if I do a project for, let's say it takes me a week, I don't have the stamina left to have my house spick and span. I just don't have the energy. I'm happy if I can throw in a load of laundry or empty my dishwasher, you know, in those cases, because by the end of the day, I don't have it in me anymore. Everything is gone, you know, and then all I can do is recover and start new again the next day. But the time frame for getting things done is very small when you have chronic pain, because, you know, at least in my situation, the longer I'm up on my feet and even sitting, my spine compresses. That's my biggest problem. And then it's difficult to walk. Sitting becomes difficult. Standing becomes difficult. You have to keep switching it up. So, and it's miserable. You know, I mean, you just have to do the best you can, though. You know, you just do the best you can and give yourself grace and respect your body and what it's telling you. I don't know, people with chronic pain have it rough, in my opinion, because it doesn't go away, you know, and even if you go to the doctor and they, excuse me, need another coffee. And they run this test and they run that test, and it's like, well, there's really nothing wrong, you know, your labs are fine. Yeah, you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but they can't really figure it out. So, I don't know, you know, it's like, well, what do? You know, you just live with it and you do the best you can. And don't be angry with yourself. I know a lot of us get really angry and frustrated with ourselves, but that doesn't help. That doesn't do you any good at all. So be kind to yourself. That's why I always say be good to yourself. Be good to others, even people that don't understand your situation. You know, as long as they're not nasty to you, you need to get rid of those people, get them out of your life. You don't need that. But as long as they're not nasty to you, they may not understand your situation, but I found the best thing to do with people like that you still want in your life, that, you know, for the most part, you enjoy their company. They don't make you feel bad, but they don't understand your situation. I found the best strategy is to just not talk about it, because they're not going to understand it. They aren't in your shoes. They don't walk your mile. They just don't understand. So it's best just not to even talk about it. You know, if they say, oh, how are you today? Oh, I'm fine, you know. Because people that don't understand your situation, they get to a point where they start avoiding you because they don't know what to do for you. So they just avoid you, and then you end up with no friends. So, and that's not good either. I mean, these things are just my opinion. You know, you all have to live your life according to your own standards, your own thoughts, you know, whatever you decide how you want to manage your life, that's how you should do it. So, all right, well, this was a rather lengthy chat. I think I'm going to make myself a little sandwich out of the luncheon loaf I made yesterday. I made a turkey loaf. Well, it ended up to be like a dark meat turkey loaf because of the tofu I used. It was already seasoned, but it really turned out good. So I'll show you that, and then I'll be back to sign off, because this is getting to be a long video. And this thing works pretty well. It's a remote for my camera, so sometimes if you hear clicking, I'm trying to stop the video. It works much better on starting it, but sometimes it doesn't always work to stop the video. So, all right, I'll meet you over at the counter. Right, well, here is my turkey loaf. Like I said, it turned out like dark meat because of the tofu that I used. Had paprika and everything on it, so, but that's fine. It's got a very nice texture, and I'm going to make myself a sandwich on some rye bread. I've got this beautiful salad that I bought on markdown for $2 off. It's still nice and fresh. And I picked this from my garden this morning. So, nice fresh tomatoes, and these are so sweet. They're delicious. And the cucumber, beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to make myself a sandwich, and I'll put this all together, and I'll be back. All right, well, here is this morning's brunch. I have my homemade pickled carrots and peppers, and my homemade luncheon loaf with dill mustard and some lettuce, cucumber, and tomato. I think that looks pretty good on rye bread. All right, there it is. Right, well, that was a good brunch. I wanted to leave you with a couple of positive thoughts from the Whatever You Do, Be Happy book by Julia DeLitt. So let me read you a couple of excerpts out of it. And it says, being happy isn't having everything in your life be perfect. Maybe it's about stringing together all the little things. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And Anne Brashares said that. She's the author of The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And then another thing you can do to make yourself feel good and happy is donate to a charity. Giving to an organization that does wonderful work in the world not only helps others, but improves your own mood too. After all, doing good feels good. You also have the opportunity to imagine how your donation might make a difference. That $10 is a hot meal for someone in need, and that donated coat will keep someone warm during the freezing months. So, good ideas to be happy. Hi, buddy. You make me happy. Yes, you do. You make me, oh, thank you for the hug. You make me very happy. You're my good boy. Yes, you are. Oh, thank you. And there's your sister. She's over there, too. Oh. All right, my friends. That's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.